Gooner Gacha games are some of the most popular gacha games in the world. Everyone loves attractive characters, whether it's specifically pertaining to gacha games, whether it's pertaining to first-person shooters, RPGs, whatever. We all like attractive characters, men and women. I think that is one thing that men and women can universally agree on. It's why games like Snowbreak and Brown Dust 2 and Nikke are so popular, and at the same time, games like Love and Deep Space are so popular. A couple years ago, one of the biggest Gooner Gacha games I had ever seen shut down, Destiny Child. This was probably my introduction into the Gooner Gacha genre. This was the very first shift-up game I'd ever played. I played this game before I'd played Nikke. This was one of the earlier games that I did as part of my Worst Gacha Ever series. This was part of the foundation and growth of this gacha channel. Naturally, when they shut it down, I was incredibly disappointed. I'd covered it, I'd enjoyed it immensely, but at that juncture, I wasn't aware the rate with which gacha games were released, announced, shut down. Now I am. Now I know everything going on in the genre, but then I didn't. However, as of November 2024, ShiftUp made an announcement that took the internet by storm. They confirmed that they had a new licensing deal with Com2uS. Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of Com2uS as a studio. This new deal would allow for Com2uS to revive the Destiny Child intellectual property. Destiny Child specifically was a turn-based RPG. It had very beautiful artwork. It was a waifu collector. It had real-time elements present. It had a very, very intricately designed story. It involved demons, angels. It launched, I think it was back in like 2016 or 2017, so it did live for approximately like 6-7 years. It was developed by ShiftUp. They then transitioned over from Destiny Child to Nikke and then to Stellar Blade. The game had a very successful run and then shut down in September 2023. There was is a memorial version of the game that does exist on the Play Store. This allows for you to, and I appreciate them for doing this, but they allow for you to go back and revisit the character illustrations, the data from the clear that you have of the game. And again, I genuinely wish that every gacha game that shut down allowed for you to have this offline version available so you could always retain the memories, the characters, and everything that you spent time, resources, and money to attain. I was first made aware of this, I think about 2-3 weeks ago. For whatever reason, I'd completely neglected to do a video on it. I know I should have. I feel I'm distraught. I'm disappointed in myself. I'm pathetic. I'm the scum of the earth. I have let you all down for not bringing this to your guys' attention sooner. But I was alerted to this a couple weeks ago from the ShiftUp World Twitter page. New teaser image and info for ShiftUp's licensed IP Destiny Child, named TBD, developed by Tiki Taka Studio and published by Com2uS. What is confirmed is high quality illustrations plus flashy visual effects. I mean, honestly, that's a given. This game had beautiful illustrations. I believe, wasn't this done by the guy that did Blade and Soul? Don't quote me. The game is going to be a well-crafted idle game, okay? A rich narrative like the original, and like the original, I can see you already catching on to the fact that this is not going to be a one-to-one re-release, like not a full port of the game. On the contrary, this is not a port. This is not a remake. This is something completely different. Yo, I don't mean to interrupt the video, but I need to take a moment here to thank all my incredible patrons over on Patreon whose support continues to allow for me to do regular videos like this every single day on this channel. Thank y'all so much, including our YouTube channel members. You guys mean the world to me. So do you guys as viewers as well. Now, without further ado, let's continue. Instead of it being the original version that was developed by ShiftUp that you may or may not have played, it is going to be developed as a new idle RPG developed specifically and exclusively by Com2uS and a studio called Viki Taka, or whatever that studio was called. This is going to be a separate version of Destiny Child. What this means is that it could end up being completely different. It could be much more predatory. The story might suck comparatively. The designs might not be as good. We really don't know. What we are aware of is the fact that it is being, at the very least, greenlit by Shift Up themselves, which means there should theoretically be that level of high quality artwork, the emotional narrative, the appeal of all the different characters that we've grown to love from Shift Up specifically. The game is also confirmed to be releasing globally in 2026, so this might actually become one of the biggest gacha game releases of the year. A gacha game that originally released almost a decade ago. Which is, that blows in my mind. The image in specific list, I get very distracted by the booty. The booty. Goddamn. The genre listed is Idle RPG, the developer Tiki Taka Studio, the release schedule 2026, release region global, platforms mobile. So I don't see PC here, which is a little bit disappointing because I think every game that launches onto mobile and not onto PC is discluding a large audience and therefore kind of limiting the growth and the overall success that they'll ultimately have, because a lot of players love to play gacha games on PC and on mobile both. That's the whole purpose of that cross-play functionality that everyone loves. Key features: 2D idle RPG crafted with beautiful art and emotional storytelling. That all sounds really good. And from what I've seen online, the player reception has been pretty good. Lots of people ready to goon all over again. Unfortunately, it is April 5th. Right now, as of recording this video, there has not been a single trailer. The exact title hasn't been decided on because a game already exists called Destiny Child. So this might be called like Destiny Child Extra, or Destiny Child Unleashed or something like that. I'm not great with titles, okay? Give me a break. There's no definitive release date yet. All we know is the game is coming at some point in 2026. We haven't seen official gameplay footage yet of this new overhauled version, if it's going to be the same 2016, 2017 version of the game, or if it's going to have something entirely new, maybe polished, maybe a crisper, more HD version of the game. Maybe it'll have a reworked UI. All we can hope for is that the game will be good. This is one of the best Gooner Gacha games that I've ever played. And right now, with Snowbreak being on an indefinite hiatus and God knows what other games that are releasing, this is the perfect time to reestablish yourself as one of the Gooner Gacha kings. Because you were. And I have no doubt this game is going to do well. I have no doubt this game has the potential to do really well. With it under Calm to Us, it might ultimately end up sucking. I don't know. I hope not, because that would be doing a disservice to the IP that was owned by Shift Up. But if it does, you best bet I'm going to be here to document the entire thing. I'm hoping for the best, but I'm definitely not expecting it. But I really genuinely would love for it to be as good as I'm hoping. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment, so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.